Tell us more about manifesting then.
Oh my gosh, I'm obsessed with it. It's just basically the concept that the energy you put out into the universe, you get it back in. So when you're putting out positivity, when you are, like, say you're trying to attract, what do people try to attract these days? Relationships. Mm-hmm. It's like when you vibrate, when your energy is like from this place of love, then you will naturally attract it back in. And I've definitely noticed that, like, in my life, even things like, you know, you're going through your day and you like stub your toe, like you can let that ruin your whole day and kind of just be in like this negative mood, and then you'll notice like bad things just keep happening. You'll get in like this low vibration. That's like kind of what manifestation talks about, just like being positive and letting go of control and just knowing that everything happens for a reason, you know.
You are now listening to the BlackerTheBerry, the sweeter the juice.
Let's record already.
What was that?
Your name now. You just say your name. What the hell? Why you got to try? So DX, and then you say I'm sure. This nigga, you're like, you want the best of three worlds. Like you're scared. Now I understand why the girls are running away. Because all this time I've been thinking girls are crazy. Now it makes sense. Keyshawn. Let me see.
Oh, okay. Do you want to leave the podcast today?
I don't really know how you start. I haven't been paying attention, man.
Huh?
Welcome to another episode.
Oh, you want to start it?
I don't know how you started. I never
Switch
paid
it up.
attention.
The intro.
Next time I'm doing it.
Oh, you want to do the intro as well?
No, next time. Since he's sitting on the chair.
Well, you want to sit there as well?
Hot seat.
Hello.
The intro.
How are you?
As follows. Welcome to another special episode today,
Oh,
guys. I'm your host, DX.
And that's Sharif up in the cut.
Keep showing, you know what it
Well,
is.
we just forgot what we were going to
No.
say.
I thought I was supposed to introduce.
Continue it, my nigga. Like,
Because I'm
Yes,
in the
no.
chair.
So you want to do it?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, no, I'll do it.
Yo, welcome back, everyone. You know, it is MTV Chris. You know, yo, it's back to Isaac and his minions. You know what we doing? What? My bad. BlackerTheBerry channel. You know, sweeter the juice.
This guy just does everything.
Enough. My name's Keyshawn. What's yours?
I'm DX.
Oh yeah, Big D. What
What
about you, Shaw?
Sharif in the cut, man.
And we have a lovely guest here today. Would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm Hallee,
Hallee, not Haley.
not Haley.
Yeah.
I never
No.
say Haley.
Oh, you thought it was Haley as well?
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I made
Hallee.
the mistake.
Like Halle
Like
Berry.
Halle Berry.
I
Oh, yeah?
That's
Yeah.
Wow.
cool. Interesting.
Shit. What are you doing today?
What am I doing today?
What were you doing today? Just trap.
I had work. After work, I caught up on some studies. Then I had practice. Had a lifting session with the trainer. Went home, packed my bags. Then I came up and picked up Shosha.
Is that your new nickname?
Man, he got like 30, bro. I'll be giving him a different one every day.
Chill out.
I've been trying to explain to him that you don't get to pick your nickname. Your niggas give it to
Okay, then
you.
you can't-
But he doesn't like his
Nobody
nicknames.
No, I don't mind Shosho. But I'm just saying, like, nobody calls you KP, bro. You make
What
that
do you
shit
mean?
yourself. So
Yeah,
like,
and
why
niggas
should
call
you-
me it.
No one calls you KP, bro.
John does.
I don't call you KP.
Marcus calls me that. Victor calls me that.
Richard does not call you KP.
Yes, he does.
I've never heard him call. I just call you by your name, bro.
Oh, God.
Your God-given name.
Which is your favorite nickname that I've given you? Other than Show.
There's no grade.
Come on. Drop the nicknames. Drop them.
Nah, it's all good. My name is Sheree.
What about Big D? You like that one?
No, bro. That was a very, very horrible, very
Truthful.
sexually liberated name.
Kevin
I don't
Wilson,
want
great,
to.
man.
Grape. That was one of my nicknames for him. Grape.
No. Do you have
He
any
didn't like it.
nicknames?
How? That's what people call me.
How?
How?
Yeah. It's It's easy. It's simple.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, he's
I'll call you Ali.
He's thinking of
Like that one?
nonsense guy.
Ali.
Ali.
Ali? Without the H?
Yes. You don't like it?
Sure. Like,
Took me a
that's
while.
what you want to call me?
Nah, it's terrible.
Do you care?
No.
You don't care how people butcher your name if they give you a
Well,
nickname?
you know,
Or would you?
something nice, something cute. Like,
Ali.
that's like the same though, you know?
That's true. It's like a Nigerian's pronouncing.
Yeah,
Ali.
No H.
all these Yoruba people, Ali and what's wrong with your face?
Hopefully they don't cancel you in the comments, man.
The Yorubas, I don't know. My people support my people. They support each other.
Okay.
These Americans are still going, bro.
They're still destroying you?
They're still going. There was one girl today. What did she say? I don't know where she drew this conclusion from. She was like, "Oh, so you're saying black girls don't intimidate? Sorry, yeah, you're saying black girls don't intimidate white girls, as in like a white girl doesn't turn, a black girl comes in the room." I'm like, how the hell did you get here? Do you remember me saying that?
You're walking down Crenshaw or something. I don't know.
No, but I replied to her though.
What
I
you
replied
say?
to her.
You're stupid?
Give her a nice paragraph.
Yeah, I gave her like 2 or 3 paragraphs because the thing is, I didn't want to.
2 or 3?
No,
Was
my
this in the comments?
spirit was just gonna say, "You're an idiot. Watch it properly," but my soul was like, "Yeah, relax."
She was bad, wasn't she?
No. A lot of these girls that reply and say rubbish, they're all
Don't say it.
what?
Don't say it.
No, I remember the one I was doing the first one I did the stitch.
Beauty is in the eyes of the beholder.
Well, I'm not the beholder, so I could say the truth on my end.
Interesting.
Yeah, she wasn't looking great, and she was now calling me ugly monkey. She was
Gorilla.
saying- yeah, those gorilla as well. Yeah, I've seen a lot.
Why? What happened?
What happened?
Yeah.
To repeat
I
it.
thought you said you did your research.
No, I didn't. I don't know about this though. I didn't. You know.
I'm
What
surprised.
research
This was
did
the
you do?
biggest-
I just did a brief. I just looked through. You know.
Okay, what did you find out?
Some clips.
Yeah, I just wanted to know what you guys were like.
And what was your general
Yeah, that's what.
consensus?
You know, I was like,
Isaac's a
That
slut.
seems fun.
Yeah, we all know.
This one is very crazy when I have a chest on my fucking. I mean, cross on my chest.
So yeah,
but I don't know about this situation. I'm
I think we
curious.
need to do. I think we need to address it.
It needs to be put to rest.
we
After
put
we
to rest
address
like
it.
5 times. No, I didn't care. No, a lot. It was just I said something that was explaining someone else's situation. People are now jumping to conclusion. Well, okay, let Isaac explain it because I think
Okay.
Isaac works for the crowd.
So basically, we had this white girl on the pod, and
This guy.
and so basically she was talking about her experience about when she goes to like.
Don't forget the mic is there.
My bad. When she goes to like clubs where
Okay, this is like the one episode I watched. Okay.
okay,
Oh, you
so
watched
like,
this one?
yeah, so the
I
clubs
did.
like the
Yeah.
main vicinity is like black
Yeah.
people.
2
So she said when she goes to the club, she said that she notices that she gets like attention, and she said on the way home, one of her friends expressed to her that like it kind of makes me feel some type of way. You getting attention, and obviously her friend was black.
Yeah.
So she didn't say what type of way it made her feel. She didn't really go into it too deep. So what Doc said, I didn't really understand what she was trying to say, because what a lot of people are thinking that it comes across as is, okay, I'm so bad that I need to tone it down a bit so that these black girls can have a chance. Doc said that's what a lot of people were saying.
Yeah.
I didn't initially think that, but Doc was trying to explain it in a different light. Came up with his own scenario. I'm sorry, but she never said intimidated. It was your own scenario. You came up.
I
She never used the word intimidated.
I said animosity there.
Animosity towards her. Yeah, he did say that.
So basically, what he said was, if a pretty girl walks into the room, it's gonna turn your stomach. And then he said, now if it's a pretty white girl, it's gonna turn your stomach.
Isaac.
Pause.
Isaac.
Pause and explain.
That is crazy.
Okay, now he said, now imagine if it was a white girl. It'll turn your stomach even more.
No, this girl wants to just cancel me on top of the cancellation that's happening. Yeah. The even more part, yeah. Yeah, that was my own little garnish on my explanation.
So basically, why they equated and put all the stuff that he said together was because before that he said that we all know girls are intimidated by pretty girls. And then he said, girl walks into the room, it's going to turn your stomach. So that's why they made the association from turning your stomach and intimidation. And then he said, now imagine it's a white girl, it'll turn your stomach even more. Yeah. So that's why the black girls believe that he's like equating the level of prettiness to like the highest to being like a white girl. And that's where the confusion is.
Yeah. I see. Which is not what he meant.
He explained himself, but they don't really fuck with it.
Yeah. Well, that's what you're going to get when you do podcasts and stuff like that. People are always going to be coming for you. You got to get used to it and just do what you got to do.
I was ready for this. Did you see the guy that's doing why don't these podcasts ever talk about financial literacy? I think to myself, bro, why are you here? And this is the thing, I think I heard it on a different podcast. There are so many podcasts that do all these niches. There are podcasts that talk about sex, like specifically just sex. There's podcasts that talk about relationships. There are podcasts that talk about finance. There are podcasts that talk about like specific things, fashion, whatever. You would never go and watch it because you're not interested in it. And then you come to people that are just talking about their own lives, and why don't you ever talk about, shut up, man. Yeah, I replied to him as well. It was on our page.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, I replied to him.
Yeah, I saw that.
Rich guy. Nah.
Like I said, I just think it's interesting when people say that because at the end of the day, there's very few things that I feel like I feel like a general populace actually want to hear about. Even on these like social media platforms, I feel like there's things that get pushed that actually draws people's attention, right? So when you're either talking about controversial things or you're talking about, aka that clip, for example, that's the only clip that ever shot up on his page. He's posted all kinds of other stuff, talking about all kinds of different things. In our podcast, we try to keep it very like balanced. It doesn't really matter. We talk about anything.
Yeah,
we've talked about we've talked about financial literacy. We've talked about, we talked about just life in general. We've had some really deep ass episodes where like, Isaac wasn't here that episode, but like we were talking about mental health. We were talking about, like just mental health, like awareness for guys, like stuff like that. But that's not the shit that ever gets pushed, whether we post it or not. It's only when we're either talking about controversial stuff or we're talking about dating or cheating or, all this fucking toxic shit that's what people actually want to hear about. Funny enough, that's the only thing that got distraction. So it's like, it's whatever.
What?
In my opinion.
Some people.
So when the nigga posted, like when he says shit like that, it's like, bro, it doesn't bother me because for me it's like I understand like our podcast. I know what we actually do on here. You know what I'm saying? So when you know what you're doing and why you're doing it, all the outside shit doesn't really matter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, those are so funny, bro.
Yeah, bro.
It's just sometimes when I'm in the mood to reply, I want to reply.
The real ones know what we talk about on here, man. That's all I'm gonna say.
Because the first couple of comments, I actually wanted to reply to, but everything else just started coming. So
compounded.
Yeah, I
have a question. What led you to watching that episode? Because obviously that episode got the most traction. So was it the fact, like, do you know Olivia, or like did you hear about the episode?
Yeah, I know her.
Okay. And is that what made you like drawn to watch the episode?
Yeah, I was like, somebody I knew. I was like, let's see what the vibe is.
Did you watch the whole thing, or you just watch parts of it?
Yeah, I watched the whole thing.
You watched the whole thing?
Yeah.
What do you think of the episode? I thought it was a good episode, to be honest. Overall, like we touched on like a bunch of different stuff. I think she asked some good questions. I feel like she was comfortable enough to like actually start asking us questions. Isaac was bouncing off of that too. Like I thought it was a good episode. We talked about a bunch of different stuff.
I think the thing is like what people get misconstrued is that when we bring people on, they have their own world, right? And sometimes if you're not in that world, or if you don't want to be in that world, you might not like the episode, that doesn't matter. Because there are guys that watch our pod and then they'll talk to me about something we mentioned where it's just the three of us.
Mm-hmm.
There are people, like I've had some girls be like, it's so nice that you guys are able to talk freely about your faith. And we've only talked about our faith like 3 times. Yeah. So that means they've picked what they want to watch. So that's why I don't really care about people liking one episode or another per se. So yeah, and we all have differing views as well on the episode. I thought it was a good episode because how many white girls are you actually gonna see say something that freely? Do you get? But a lot of white girls feel that way, you know. So you know, that's why I have to speak on behalf of them.
First and last,
bro. Honestly, actually, no. I'm gonna carry on.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna carry on. Shots, bro. Do you know what is out there on the internet?
Oh yeah, all kinds.
Bro,
of shit.
mine doesn't even scrape.
Wait. So Hallee, we never asked your opinion. Based on what I told you, Doctor said, what do you think about that? Like, do you somewhat agree? Do you disagree? Do you see where he's coming from?
I can see where he's coming from, yeah.
Okay.
And I could see how people kind of like misconstrued it and stuff like that. That's just what people do. Just something you have to get used to. But yeah, I can see where you're coming from there. Like, yeah.
Do you get a lot of like that kind of interaction on your socials?
Oh yeah, like all the time.
Really?
People will say whatever. It's the internet, right?
Yeah.
Like. Yeah. You're not like, and it's so funny too because I think about how if I were sitting with somebody face to face, like you would not say these things to me, you would not treat me like that.
Absolutely not.
It's crazy how people think they can just do whatever through a screen and but that's how it is. That's what you're doing, right? Like you signed up to do this podcast, so it's like you have to be prepared for people to be on your ass, honestly, and that's what I had to learn too. So
yeah.
Is it being difficult dealing with the social media side?
Yeah.
Really? Why do you say so sad?
Like social media side of what?
Just like, well, what do you mean? Like
just being on social, having social media presence, as well as putting out what you do as well. Because there's a difference between having like a page and actually putting forward what you do.
Yeah.
Yo, are you like a influencer?
I don't know like what I would call myself, but I definitely put out certain things on the internet to kind of, I guess, influence people. Okay. Like what I do is mainly just like spreading awareness about spirituality and mental health and stuff like that, and kind of just like doing my own thing though, like not making it too serious or too deep. So yeah. But it's definitely hard, like. And then, like, and I have so many, like, different groups of people who I attract to, like, my page and stuff. Like, you know, I have, like, women around my age. I have, like, teenage girls. I have men. And it's, like, it's hard to, like, please everybody. But, like, as you guys were saying, like, just do whatever. Just, you know, like, keep it lighthearted. Just have fun at the end of the day.
Have you found it hard to get, like, guys to open up about their mental health? Or
like... Obviously, I think all men definitely struggle to open up about stuff like that. But with me, I think I can kind of get them to open up. Yeah? I don't know.
What's your tactics?
That's a good question. I'm gonna lie to you. I'm curious.
I don't know. I just kind of like say I'm going like on a date with somebody. I'm just like very open and straightforward. Like with me, like. There's no like secrets. There's no like pretending, like putting on a show. You know how people kind of do that. Yeah. It's like you want to like make a good first impression, obviously, but I just like to keep things real, and I feel like me being my authentic self makes it easier for men to kind of match that energy. So. No,
you don't fall into any liars.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You like for guys.
I try to. It's hard. People are manipulative, men, women.
Yeah, like you're able to discern who is who.
We were kind of talking about this earlier, just how like I've come a long way just seeing through people and seeing through BS. Like, but you kind of have to go through situations in which like aren't great.
Yeah.
Like heartbreak.
Yeah, to learn
people
from
being
it.
shitty. Yeah.
100%.
And the more I kind of went through situations like that, the more I was able to like really see through people and recognize what I want from a relationship, what I don't want.
Yeah. Yeah, that's usually how it goes. For better or for worse, But yeah.
Oh, you ask me a question?
No,
I was just gonna say, I feel like with guys, a lot of the times why they feel like they can't open up is they're either afraid that they're gonna be judged, not taken serious, or made fun of. So I feel like just setting like an environment of where he can feel safe and
100%.
comfortable with you, and
100%.
know that you are not going to judge what he's about to say.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be really key, and I feel like that help a lot of guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you feel like one overrides the other? This is
What do you mean?
terrible. So like, was it 3 things that you mentioned?
You
Three
said
things.
judged.
So feeling judged.
Not taken serious, made fun of.
Do you feel like one of them tops the other?
That's a good
Do you
question.
feel like all of them are
Not taken serious. For
Not
me,
taken
would
serious?
be the biggest thing. If you bring it up and there's like, nigga, suck it up, I'll be like,
What, from a babe? Jesus.
Just in general. I would say I would say not taken serious too.
because to you, you're like, okay, this is a thing that's really affecting me, and they just brushed it off completely.
Yeah, and it's not even like it's like what this nigga Isaac said. It's not even about it necessarily being a woman. It's more so the fact that toxic masculinity is so rampant that even your own male counterparts don't take you seriously. Like,
Yeah.
you see it all. It's in fact it might be even more guys, if anything. Like as much as you I feel like social media pushes this narrative that and I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but like women don't take like men's emotions seriously and all this other stuff, and obviously that does happen to an extent. I won't say all women, obviously, but at the same time, if you actually really look at it, there's a lot of guys that just also feed into that toxic masculinity where like, it's like, bro, like you're being soft, or you're being a pussy or whatever. Like I saw this video of this one guy. He was saying the whole how it was a TikTok video. He was saying how much the making fun of each other in high school affected a lot of guys like growing up, like going out of high school.
Yeah.
And they kind of had to reinvent themselves, going out of high school. And the comment section is full of other males making fun of him.
Yep.
It's not even women, it's other males.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like that right there is a problem. But nobody wants to talk about that. You know what I mean? It's like this, he was literally saying, he's like, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Like, you're literally proving my point. You know what I mean?
I have a controversial opinion. Like me, I'm appreciative of everything I've gone through. I'm appreciative that the fact that I felt like I've never really been able to open up to anyone. I'm appreciative of the fact that I got baked in high school. I just feel like as an individual, it's just made me stronger. And I obviously, like, it would have been nice to have someone to be be there for me, or have someone to open up to, but it's made me the individual that I am today, so I'm very proud of that. So
I was even going to ask this question about being bullied. As it, you love it.
I think it creates stronger individuals, but
that's what I was going to say.
obviously it's not a good thing.
Not necessarily.
But I would say that's only from we can.
Oh, there's a lot of people that that situation went
the other, yeah,
Exactly. Not necessarily.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna ask if you guys have been bullied in
Yes.
school,
Mm-hmm.
and do you think that made you stronger or weaker?
Stronger, I would say.
Yeah.
It's how you deal with things. Like
Yeah,
all
most
the stuff
definitely.
about like mental health and like what we went through as kids, all that stuff. It's like you can take that stuff and it's how you deal with it. Like if you work through it, then you're fine. Like as you said, like you like who you've become, right?
Yeah.
And that's probably just because you've learned to like process those things and you've like come to terms and realizations about what you've been through. But some people kind of take those things that happened to them in the past and then they're toxic going forward, or they don't heal from them and stuff like that. So that's when there's like this issue. But everybody goes through stuff.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, I
there's
feel
no
like
avoiding.
me just knowing that I don't have to rely on somebody to help me with these things. I can do it on my own. it's just like a really good feeling.
Oh, bro, it's nice. Let me not lie.
Yeah.
It's nice. Like the lack of trust is great for the most part, anyways.
Yeah.
It's great because then I don't expect things from people.
Yeah.
And I just live a life where, like, I was explaining to Shayla the other day, I was saying, look, if for me the reason why I don't like this whole hoping for the best and expecting the worst, how it works is that I hope in life everything goes well, but at the end of the day, I know that there's a human side of this person that's about to fail. So, for example, if asks me, "Oh, let's go out for lunch," I'm like, yeah, no problem. I'm free on Tuesday. In my mind, I expected to cancel.
Initially, or like off the rip?
Off the rip, I expected to cancel. So in my mind, everything I'm doing, I'm going to carry on doing until she literally says, let's go. Then I'm not, like, my life doesn't continue in terms of, like, I disregard the fact that we have set a date for us to go out somewhere, but my life still carries on in terms of if she does cancel, it's not going to disrupt my day.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was trying to explain it to her that way, that the lack of trust in people has helped with no disappointment. Well, not no disappointment, but little disappointment.
I always tell my friends, always expect the worst and you'll never be disappointed.
Yeah.
I'm a strong pessimist. I just expect the worst. I'm never disappointed.
I think, like, being positive about everything is important, and just, like,
most definitely,
you know, but also knowing that anything can happen. Somebody could cancel
reality.
on you.
That's very key.
The world could end tomorrow, whatever the case may be.
Like,
world
end tomorrow.
Whatever. I don't know. Anything can happen, right?
Nowadays, you know?
That's why like
we're in shaky times.
That's why you talk about, like, being present is so important.
Yeah, just be present. Don't worry about the future. Don't worry about the past.
Being present is so important, man.
That will attract good things to you.
You know?
It's kind of how, like, manifestation works. That's kind of like what you're saying.
What was
That's
I saying?
kind of like, I don't know how much you guys know about, like, manifesting and all
I know
that
quite a lot,
yeah.
but I'm saying, what was I saying?
But just, like, how you're kind of, like, just no expectations. Just
Oh,
going through life, like, not worrying too much. Oh, is this going to happen? Like, that control. You kind of, like, let go of that control aspect, which is so good. Like, for manifesting and just attracting good things into your life.
Tell us more about manifesting then.
Oh my gosh, I'm obsessed with it. It's just basically the concept that the energy you put out into the universe, you get it back in. So when you're putting out positivity, when you are, like, say you're trying to attract, what do people try to attract these days? Relationships. It's like when you vibrate, when your energy is, like, from this place of love, then you will naturally attract it back in. And I've definitely noticed that, like, in my life, even things like, you know, you're going through your day and you, like, stub your toe. Like, you can let that ruin your whole day and kind of just be in, like, this negative mood. And then you'll notice, like, bad things just keep happening. You'll get in, like, this low vibration. That's kind of what manifestation talks about. Just, like, being positive and letting go of control and just knowing that everything happens for a reason, you know?
Yeah.
Very interesting stuff.
How do you do you even do manifestation?
Yeah, no, it's more so for me, it's you know, I think there's obviously, like, natural laws of things for sure. I'm not, like, I wouldn't say I'm like I delve into, like, manifestation a lot, but I definitely understand where you're coming from, just from, like, a life perspective, you know? And just, like, understanding how powerful your mind is.
Your mind literally controls your reality.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, and we've talked about this how many times, but, you know, that's why I'm saying I'm agreeing with you, because it's the same thing. Like you said, like, you can stub your toe, and then because, well, yeah, you may have felt the physical pain, right? But it's like, oh, I stubbed my toe, and then, you know, you're dwelling on the fact that you stubbed your toe, and then now everything else that happens, you're just already in a bad mood. Yeah. Right? And you're almost forcing that negativity now, right? So, you know, like, just, you know, we talk about, like, what you consume on a day-to-day basis, the people you're around, how all that stuff is so important.
Yeah, it affects
right?
you for sure.
Yeah.
Because it affects literally you. Like, I remember I was telling you about the basketball players that were emoting the same way, when you're around a certain amount of people, you start talking like them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So
Start
it's just,
thinking like them. As
yeah,
well.
you start thinking like them. So
Yeah.
I just, you know, even when you're talking about like manifestation and just, for me, it's more so just understanding that there obviously are natural forces, and, you know, just being present and just understanding how powerful your mind is something that I've learned over the last, like, I would say 2 years. It's so huge, huge. Right?
Yeah, I feel like COVID really pushed people to take some time by themselves.
Do some
and
soul
just,
searching.
Like, oh my gosh.
Life actually was on pause.
Right? Like,
It was
it's
so
It was like
crazy.
you're trapped with just you, yourself, and I. Like literally, you're just trapped with your mind, bro. Yeah.
Yeah,
So it
dead
forced
ass.
you to
You couldn't
think.
do nothing else.
It forces you to
Right.
think.
And like going back to everything happens for a reason, I really think just because of how society is today and how everybody's so caught up in like the physical and whatever, so many things are going on, right? Everything.
Yeah.
But I think like obviously COVID was terrible. I wish it didn't happen, but it really forced people to take a second and be like, okay, like I'm here with myself. Like what can I do individually to like improve my life for one? Because I just feel like everybody kind of just really came to terms with their own mental health during that time too, and was just like, holy crap, like
Yeah.
big
Well, for you were enjoying Australia, so
yeah, I was.
that's why COVID
my
wasn't
own
great
thing.
for you.
Australia, damn.
What are you doing out there?
I was just going on a big adventure with my friend, like a 6-month trip, and then
Wow.
it turned into a 2-month trip because COVID happened.
Oh, that's
yeah.
too bad.
It was shitty,
Six
but-
months is still crazy to you know.
Yeah.
That's half a year.
2 months is crazy.
So I want to get your opinions on this. Like, contrary to strong belief, I am a strong believer myself, or a firm believer, that at the end of the day, you can only depend on you, yourself, and I. On
Amen.
yourself. What do you guys think about that?
Amen.
I agree
I'm with you.
completely.
100%.
You don't think there's ever anybody, you're ever going to find anybody in your life that you can fully depend on as much as you depend on yourself?
No,
Fully?
no.
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 One thing
Okay.
that I really like to tell like the clients I do tarot readings for is like, well, especially because majority of the people who come and get readings with me, it's always about this toxic ex or like this guy or like what? It's always that, right? So it's like, why are you worried about these relationships, like especially the ones that like, you know, you're not being treated correctly? Focus on the relationship on you, because it's like you are with you since birth and you are with you until the day you die. That is the only relationship in your life that is actually permanent. So it's like that's the most important. Like, and I do agree that it's like you rely on
Relationship
you.
with yourself.
Yeah, like
100%.
Bro, what I say, you live in this world on your own, but I was no, you're born alone. You live in this world with other people, and you still die alone.
Yeah.
So
it's all about you.
Right.
Like
It is.
concentrate
It is.
yourself.
So you said you do readings, correct?
yeah.
So like, is it like somebody will like open up to you and you kind of make sense of it for them, or how do you go about that?
It's always different. I kind of leave it up to my clients what they want to do. Like sometimes I'll have somebody like tell me their issue and like this is what's going on. I just need some clarity, or they'll just be like, okay, just tell me what the cards say, and I'll just start reading their energy, their situation. So it can go either way.
Can you feel the energies to the level of when you bring out the cards before you bring out the cards? Like, can you tell someone like 80% of the solution before you
Like
bring out the
before I
cards?
pull the cards?
Yeah.
Sometimes, like, you know, because I just kind of like get into my element. I don't do anything specific, but it's like, okay, I'm here, I'm connecting with this person, and then right off the bat I can feel whatever it is, like the tension, the situation, and then the cards will confirm. But a lot
You have
of
to
the
do it
times
like in a
beforehand.
particular environment, or can you do it anywhere?
You know, I like, for me right now, I just do readings at my place. Like I do them online, just like in my kitchen or whatever. But I think an area that's more like secluded and like personal, you know what I mean, is better, just for, because it gets pretty personal a lot of the times.
Isaac, you ever gonna do one? You can do one today.
Yes, he said he was gonna do
Readings?
one.
Oh, he said?
Yeah, he was like,
Yeah?
I'm getting a reading, right?
What?
You're getting a reading.
I didn't always remember that. I thought you were an influencer.
Yeah, you
I thought you were an influencer.
No, you're getting a card reading.
Did you do one?
Did I do one? No, I've never done one.
Oh.
We'll do one today.
We'll do them, yeah.
The funny thing is, like, are you scared? Your spirit's gonna jump out. We're gonna find out something about you.
Yeah, we'll expose his ass.
It's so funny when I do readings for men, they get so scared, and I'm just like,
Of course, there's so much.
Why? It's not
Dealing with so much shit, nigga.
No, because a lot of things, like, for most guys, right? The thing is, like, there's so much that goes up in here.
Yeah.
That
you don't let it out.
Yeah, you don't let it out because
Crazy.
we're trained that the moment it comes out, it has to be solved. Right? So now, if we have things up here, we're trying to solve it before it comes out. Right? And the funny thing is that I was actually thinking about this the other day. One of my guys came over for a haircut, and I was like, "Oh, where you coming from?" He said, "Oh, I'm coming from work." Where you going to? He was like, "I'm going to work after." I'm like, "How many jobs you work?" He was like, 3 jobs. I'm like, why? He's not like, he's got like other things he's paying for. He's got his business that he wants to start up, and it's not a small any man business, proper business. It's a lot of moving parts, right? And then he's also supporting his sister through school. And at the time, I was just like, makes sense why you're working so much. But I was driving today and I was thinking about how much pressure he's put on himself, and he just goes about with it without complaining. Now, I've never once heard him complain.
It was gonna make for a strong man.
Yeah, but then at the same time, that could also make for someone that might break. But obviously, me knowing him, he's not that kind of person that's going to break easily. But I thought about him, like, yeah, they're guys that are put in this kind of environment, and they're pipes. They're not diamonds. That's how men break. But then it's the same thing. Like, you're dealing with so much that sometimes you don't want to put it out because either you're going to be seen as... Because the funny thing is that all of this is subjective. To one guy working the 3 jobs, supporting so many people and trying to make your own dreams come true could be as easy as doing it. To another guy, that can be almost impossible.
Yeah.
Right? So if you put out this same scenario to one person, they might just see it as, oh, is that what you're talking about? That's easy. As a man that's actually going through the struggle of trying to make those 3 things work, someone telling you that's easy, you're broken. Do you get what I'm saying? So a lot of guys are going through this. Yeah. That's why they can't really open up on the scale of it. Yeah, it is that. It is that. But then it's only recently that we're now being told and shown that opening up actually helps rather than more of a detriment.
The thing that kind of spirituality preaches is like, we have feminine and masculine energy, and it has nothing to do with gender. It's like someone can have like a more masculine energy or a feminine energy. And I think that like what kind of has happened in society is that like there's like this imbalance, right? Like feminine energy has kind of been like pushed aside, or a lot of things, right? And then masculine energy has been focused on, and it's like men really struggle to like step outside of their egos and kind of step into their feminine side. And I think to be a healthy individual, you need to have both energies. So it's like with that, men just kind of need to understand that feminine side, that emotional side, and balance it out. It's like we're really just fighting to find balance at this point with everybody around us, especially with men. So it is hard, and it's challenging, and it's going to take a lot for us to really make change and get there. But like really understanding that it's like this overactive like masculine energy, this ego is what it really comes down to. And that's when, once we can like get men to really shed their egos and like lessen that, I think that's when they're gonna like feel more safe to open up and stuff like that. Because ego, it just talks about how like the physical, like who you are and how people perceive you. Like men are constantly, as we talked about, worried about being judged, or you know, whatever the things are. And girls are like this too. A lot of girls like operate from this very like masculine energy as well. And then you have the flip side of that. We have these women who are like too much in their feminine energy, you know, like overly emotional, kind of like emotionally what's the word, like irregulated? I don't know if that's a word.
Mods, abusive. So
it's like, it's this struggle right now that we're dealing with, and it's a lot. But we're starting to get somewhere. Talking about it starts something, you know. But
Awareness.
What do you think of so the fact that, you know, there's a lot of masculine energy which is pushing the feminine energy a little bit more to the side? Do you think that women also attribute to that? Because a lot of women are starting to fall into their masculine. So how do you see us actually turning around from that?
Lord. It's a big thing. Like, this is one of the biggest issues we have right now as a society, just like this dynamic between men and women.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think that the more we kind of push mental health, the more we get people really healing, understanding these things, understanding their femininity and their masculinity and accepting it and just being more open and receptive. I think that will really help, but it's hard. It's not going to be easy to kind of switch what has been going on so far.
To be very honest, I feel like there are a lot of guys that are mistaking their masculinity for their femininity.
What do you mean?
So there are a lot of guys that, for example, when it comes to this idea of a toxic man or toxic masculinity, there are a lot of guys that are acting their feminine, being emotional, claim to be thinking logically, but acting based on their emotions and ego, right? So because of that, because there's this confusion of like what they're acting in, it's disrupting the balance, in my opinion. Anyways,
I also think it's like we really need to like men and women need to see each other for how they're the same and like less than how we're different. Like, we need to really just work together and stop making it like this war, like who's more toxic, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's time to just, and that's what spirituality preaches as well. It's just like, we're all one, we're all here in this universe together, you know, like, it's all about balance, it's all about working together, finding peace, you know. But
right, yeah. How many people are out here trying to find peace, man? It's sad. Well, what do you want to say?
I have nothing to say.
Huh?
I have nothing to
Nothing to say. Rubbish. Nah, I don't know. Peace is hard to find. I feel like, from what I believe from my faith, I don't think peace is gonna come. I don't think it's meant to come at this time. I think there's gonna be continuous problems until
Jesus comes back.
Amen. You put it right.
Okay.
Nah, but yeah, there's gonna be
Can I get an amen?
Amen, man.
No. How are you with what's it called? With religion and spirituality? What are your thoughts?
I grew up Christian. Like, I grew up going to church every Sunday, Sunday school, all of that. But it was always confusing for me because a lot of the things that Christianity like preaches, I was kind of like, I don't know if I agree with that.
As you say.
But yeah, like for me, it was those type of things that kind of, in my opinion, keeps like people like in control. And for me, like spirituality is more about being free and being open. But I still do consider myself, like, I believe in God. I believe that there's just like whatever, like this higher power. Yeah. Or just the universe, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I really struggled though because, you know, my family's Christian and I struggled to kind of find where I fit in and all of that. And then I found spirituality and it definitely resonated more with me. But yeah.
I think what makes a lot of people struggle with Christianity in particular is how they've grown up with it, how they've been taught about it, and how they've lived it, right? So with a lot of people, there's like, being a Christian is a set of rules.
Yeah.
Being a Christian is you have to do, you know, they forget the fact that the whole point of Christianity is that you choose to follow. When you're given free will. It means you can do whatever you want, but if you want to be part of this club, this is what the requirements are. You don't have to do them, but this is what the requirements are. You get what I'm saying? So I feel like that's where people kind of struggle, and then they also forget that the core elements of most of these religions are simple things that you require in life, like discipline. You know, being part of a religion or having a faith requires discipline, whatever you're doing in life, be it work, be it relationships, be it even your health. And then they forget everything. I've said it many times, that everything in life kind of replicates itself. You know, there's nothing that's new, really. This whole discipline that you're seeing in the Christian faith is the same thing you have to do when you go to the gym. It's the same thing that you have to do when you're studying. You know what I'm saying? But people can't seem to, or they don't want to accept that relation that life has with their faith. For me, I was lucky that my parents, obviously there's, you know, the African side where they force you to do a lot of things, but the message that had managed to like grow, the message that was planted and managed to grow in me is that idea of a relationship, right? In a relationship, obviously I'm my own person, but if I want to be with this person, there's certain things I have to do to make them happy. You know, and understanding that has helped me so much throughout my faith. When I feel like, oh, let's say I've sinned, it's not a thing of, oh, I've done something wrong to then be disciplined for it. It's more of like, how do I feel? Do I actually still want to be with this person? Let me go and say sorry. And let me actually be remorseful about it. Right? And you can relate that to your parents, your siblings, your significant other, because those are things that are given to us in life to make us understand how God essentially works. Yeah,
there's a lot of life in religion, like kind of like what you said too. I think you can just equate a lot of like life stuff, even with like spirituality. I feel like there's definitely like an alignment somewhere. I feel like between the three, between life, religion, and like you said, spirituality. I think there is a lot of things that you can kind of take out of all of them that just have to do with being a human being and just experiencing life. Yeah. Right? Like you said, you're talking about discipline, for example, or just you're talking about like being a kind person and, you know, spreading love, and obviously you know you're receiving that back. Like the Bible talk about reaping what you sow, right? So it's in that same sense. It's when you certain kinds of energy, you're getting that energy back throughout your life. You know what I mean? Yeah. So there's definitely a lot of just there's definitely like a connection, you know, that I can see. For me, I feel like a lot of these things you can just see like throughout your own life. Yeah. That they just kind of make sense. You know what I mean? You don't really have to explain them, but you know, they just kind of make sense. As long as you pay attention, you should be fine. I mean, if you're aware, obviously. Yeah. But how do you feel about free will though? Because I watched this video the other day, and it was some guy. He was like,
let me guess, they're trying to debunk free will.
Yeah, he was in essence, no, but he had like, so I agree with him up until a point, but I just want to see what you guys thought about it. His what he was pretty much saying is, it wasn't more so he was saying free will doesn't exist, but what I got from it was that the empathy part, which is because most people are molded into who they are from
they're slaves to their environment.
There's in essence, right? He was like, free will doesn't actually exist. Yeah. Which was actually it makes me think. When I hear things like this, it makes me think. It's not that I'm obviously gonna just jump on the boat and believe everything he's saying, but there is some truth to the fact that people are literally slaves to their environment.
Basically, what you know what I mean? What the nigga's trying to say is that everything you do in life, every choice you make is guided by a certain thing. Whether it's your environment, your 100%. Society, your friends. Yeah. He's saying there's no choice you can make that isn't influenced by something else. And
yeah, you know, obviously what I saw from it also is like, for example, the main message I got out of it was the empathy part, because he touched on that a little bit, is where to, you know, it's there's this word, sonder, right? And it pretty much means that every individual is living their own like POV, or they're like the main character of the story kind of thing. But with the empathy part of what he was saying when he was talking about free will is because people are so like you said slaves to their environment, you're able to understand other human beings more, as opposed to just being like, oh, I'm living my life, what they're doing doesn't make sense, why they're acting a certain way doesn't make sense. But you kind of develop that empathy when you understand that people literally are kind of who they are from how they were born, the people they were around, the religion they were brought up in, right? Isaac could have easily been a completely different religion if he was just born with different parents. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, so like that's really what I got out of it. But I don't know what do you guys think about like free will just in general?
It's a big topic.
It is, right? It is. It's very interesting.
Yeah, like
I think it exists in the Christian aspect, but other than that, no, not really.
What do you mean? You have to elaborate on that.
Yeah,
that's a big statement.
That's hella.
It says in the Bible.
Draw the mic close to you, by the way. Just pull it closer. You don't have to sit up.
Yeah, I'll restart for the third time.
You have the extension, man. Use that shit.
It says in the Bible that God gave us free will to believe in Him or not. So to me, that means that I have the choice in my life. Even though I've been brought up in the Christian faith, just like her, she was brought up in the Christian faith. God has given us free will. We all know God could have asserted His will upon us and made us all believe in Him. As in, we all know He's all powerful. But He's given us that choice to not believe in Him. So that's where I believe free will comes in as a factor. Because just like we said, she grew up in the Christian faith. She did not have to still believe in that Christian faith. And she went away from it. That was her own choice. Yeah. You could argue that, it was something that influenced her. But the main point is that God says, you have that choice to be a Christian or to not be a Christian, to live by His way or to not live by His way. That's where I believe in free will. That God gave it to us.
Even in that, the manner in which God made us was to have authority, aka was to be replicated by what the power He has. It's not exactly the power He has, but we still have a power that's similar to what He has, which is where the free will comes in. That free will is power over your own being, right? So for me,
so do you think fully or do you think to an extent?
Fully. The only reason why it's to an extent is because we limit ourselves as human beings, and also once we got sent out of Eden, we already limited ourselves to what we can do. Because once we're sent out of Eden, we're not living in heaven anymore. Yeah. Eden was the replication of heaven on earth. Once we left that, now we're living on earth. There's limits on earth because earth is not heaven, right? Earth, we're not able to use the authority we have unless you within yourself access that authority or believe in that authority. Hence why you're getting a lot of people that are always self-doubting because what they're seeing on earth doesn't make them feel like they have authority. So now someone can say something to you and tell you something that you're not, and because you don't have that self-belief, you might believe them.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas in Eden, you're already treated like a god because you are a god. Right. Whereas if you're on earth, right, it's like even traveling. If you're walking around here, you're able to like get what you want in terms of like, if you want food or if you want a specific restaurant, you can just go and ask because you have the authority to ask. Whereas you go to a different country that doesn't speak the same language, all of a sudden there's an element of fear, there's an element of withdrawal because there's a language barrier. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. So now in that country, you're not acting fully yourself. Because you always have to double think, you always have to think twice, you always have to also try and translate what you're trying to say, which can dilute exactly what you're trying to say.
And you're equating this all to having your own power of authority?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or do you need me to explain it more?
I mean, I just feel like if you were to have a debate with someone who is against free will, they'd still just argue, okay, this is based on your environment, this is based on your experience, this is based on this is based on this.
No, they can say that, but it's a redundant argument because it, like, you having that influence over you, by you making a choice still means you're choosing to stay in that influence or choosing not to stay in that influence, whether or not you're influenced. They can obviously then rebuttal by saying you're still influenced.
Yeah.
It's going to be redundant. That's why these arguments
Go back and
last,
forth.
because it's an argument where everyone has a say. But at the end of the day, like from my point of view, I always see it from like for example, glass half empty, glass half full. The water's still at the same level. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I always see it from the point of, with free will, you have the choice to do anything. You have that power to do anything, right? When you're saying, what was his argument again? That he was.
What was his argument? He said that, so pretty much because you didn't get to choose, in essence, you don't get to choose who you are.
Yeah.
You don't get to choose who you're born to. You don't get to choose what the religion you don't get to choose who you're around, etc., etc. All those things just happen for you. Free will doesn't exist because you're a slave to your environment.
Yeah, and with that, you could also say, because you don't know what happens tomorrow, you pretty much paint your destiny.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it's the same concept, again, this is where we get techie. It's the same concept of what Kanye was saying when he was saying to these people that as a slave in those times, you could literally run away. Now, you have to understand, as humans, we work off environments, we work off mechanisms, right? If you're shown something time and time again, repetition causes something to remain and stay.
That's
right?
why he's also against Black History Month.
I'm against it too. But when he's saying, like, as a slave, for the first decades, right, however many decades, you've been put in chains, you've seen people try and escape, and they've either been killed, they've been flogged, or they've been put in worse situations. All that repetition builds some sort of like a hardened understanding of your slavery. So now when they take the chains off, when Kanye's saying these slaves didn't have chains, they could run away. You have the ability to run away, but your mind is already enslaved.
Yeah.
But you still have that free will of choice.
Mm-hmm.
So now, going back to this argument, we all have influences, but free will still exists because nothing forces us to make these choices.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
That's my view.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
yours?
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Like, can't choose what you're born into, but every day's a new day. You can choose
100%.
to do whatever.
Yeah.
I think there's a level of conscientiousness that you will have depending on, regardless of what influence you do have or is around you, right? Because kind of like what she said, I can wake up tomorrow and shave my head, completely change how I dress. I don't know.
But she did that for a reason.
I can change my religion if I choose to.
Yeah.
You know, like like you said, I have the free will to do. So I agreed with his initial statement about, like, obviously there's, you know, you don't have full control over everything that happens to you.
Yeah.
Right. Obviously, to a certain point in your life, you know, but free will does exist. I definitely do agree. I just wanted to hear what you guys had to say about it. At least from my opinion, I think.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it makes sense.
It's an interesting conversation, though, for sure. It's an interesting topic. So with like this, like with spirituality and stuff, how would you say you are, like, you know, practicing spirituality? How would you say you are when it comes to like just like interacting with people in general and stuff like that, like whether it's romantically or platonically, or how would you say like spirituality has affected influenced your
It's definitely made things more complicated.
Really?
I would say. Well, kind of, you know. And just me, like, with the whole tarot thing, like, I can read energies pretty much. So when I, you know, I'm in a relationship with somebody, then I can kind of feel things that they're not necessarily saying to me and things like that. So it's kind of, I guess the word for it is just like a really heightened intuition. So that's kind of like made me a bit more cautious, I would say, when it comes to people and just who I let in. Because I just really believe that, and we talked about this, just how the people you surround yourself with just will affect you so much.
100%.
Yeah, and that's what spirituality really. Yeah, I'm definitely more full. That's for sure. But I also try not to like, because it's such like a like to say, oh my gosh, like I believe manifestation, I believe in tarot, astrology, all this stuff. Like it's a lot for people to take in. So I kind of, you know, like to keep it like over there, like when I first meet somebody, you know what I mean, like not right away I'm just like, oh my god, let me do a reading for you. You know what I mean? I feel you. Yeah, so it's definitely made more interesting relationships, I guess I would say, for sure.
So can you read our energies right now?
Kind of, you know.
So what would your general impression for all three of us?
Oh my god.
What would you say? What would you say it is in terms of the energy or the vibe we're giving you?
The energies, the vibes. I think like the reason why I really like was up for doing this podcast and like wanted to is just because all of you like have this energy of just being very open and like just like kind of like all three of you kind of have very similar energy where it's like you just kind of like to experience new things and talk about whatever, and I really admire that. And not a lot of people are like that. A lot, like all of you guys are like really smart too. I'm getting that vibe, like super smart, whether you know that or not. But yeah, good vibes is what I'm getting. But we'll do readings later. We'll figure the rest out.
What was your we asked Shayna this actually, what impressions of each of us?
Like initially?
Detailed impressions of each of us.
Detailed impressions?
Yeah. So when you first met each of us.
Was it Shayna we asked, or was it Shayna?
Yeah, Shayna.
Oh, I thought you said Shayna. Yeah, Shayna. Shayna did kind of the same thing. She kind of read us.
Shayna did.
She kind of gave us like, you know.
Yeah,
the different energies. She was though. That was what was crazy. I was actually shocked.
Not for me.
Cause for what did she say?
All she said was, "You're a shit starter." That's it.
No, she said more than that.
She said a lot more than that. Is that what you heard?
That's all she said.
No, that was not all she said.
But Doc said she's like stubborn and all that. Yeah.
Exactly. That's
remember the bad stuff.
Yeah, that's the one you want to listen.
She said way more than that.
Never mind this guy.
I just don't recall specifically. But yeah, she
got spot on.
Because what is she again? What's her profession? She's
a life coach.
Life coach, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So she used that to. Antennas are going off.
Hallee. That's good. Start with Isaac.
No rush.
Get a little.
No pressure.
Yeah. Go ahead.
God bless you.
No one can be Ashley here.
Take your time.
Look into my eyes.
No, it's twinkly eyes, because that's how you bamboozle all the girls.
Done.
I feel like there's like a lot more to you than like you let people see.
Oh, wow. That was good. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Like, first thing. And like, I don't know, you're actually like a very deep person. Like you have like very deep feelings and emotions, but like you literally won't let people see that a lot of the times.
Wow.
I'd rather die.
She's on fire.
Why?
You can't trust people.
You can't trust people? You have trust issues.
You know what I'm saying? You can't trust people.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not worth it.
So he has trust issues. Okay. Okay.
Wow. That was pretty good.
No, what else though?
There's more. Listen.
No, there is more.
Amen.
Like, I don't know. There's something about you that's
special.
You need like to be constantly like there's something it's giving like ADHD. Like you need like constant like action, or like people like keep like anybody in your life. You need to be like kept on your toes. You need like to be like
look at it. He's been caught.
You need to be entertained. I keep hearing that.
Yeah.
What else? I don't know. There's a lot to you.
So you think I want a crazy girl?
What?
What about crazy girls? You attract
You
them?
think I want one?
I don't know.
You say I want to be kept on my toes.
You like to be kept on your toes doesn't mean you want a crazy girl unless you do. Is that what you're saying? No.
You trying to put the advert out?
The what?
The advert's already out.
The advert that you want a crazy girl. The camera's there. You can speak to her.
I'm okay.
What's her name? What's the? Is this Flavia? What name did you pick?
Jasmine.
Jasmine.
That's sweet. I like that name.
Who's next? Yes. I agree.
Oh boy.
Oh my gosh. You're something, that's for sure.
Oh.
Do you struggle with
Shagging.
Shut the fuck.
I don't know, you have moments where you really let things get to you really badly. Don't do that. It's giving depression a little bit. You definitely have moments where it's you get really drained by people easily. I'm hearing you need to take a lot more time to yourself. Seriously. I'm hearing you you like to be around people a lot, as most people do, but I think you need to find more balance or something like that, because you get really drained. Does that make sense for you? What else am I getting? That was very specific though, the whole getting. I'm hearing just don't get caught up in your thoughts, in your worries. That's a big message for you. What about you?
He's finished. That's quick.
Oh, because I know that you. What?
Me.
I think you're the hardest to read. I don't know why.
Do you know what? I'm gonna stop you there because
Powerful stuff.
Do you know how many times people have said that?
Really?
Yeah. But the funny thing is, I'm an open book.
That's why I'm it's weird that you're hard to read.
Hey, don't wink at me. What's wrong with you, man?
Yeah.
Out of the three, you're probably the most mentally stable. We'll give you that.
I'm glad you said stable because the mentally fall got me.
You're very you're just extremely driven and motivated all the time. How? I feel you're gonna, whatever you do in I don't know, I'm getting big stuff for you coming up. I don't know. You're very
Canceled
just
again.
goal oriented.
Cancelled again.
Yeah, that's why that you're the one who gets canceled, because it's the universe needs you to go. You have places to be. That's what I'm hearing.
Power.
Goals to accomplish.
Yeah.
Balance is also important for you. Balance.
What?
Okay, you guys need to meditate.
I meditate every day.
Do you? You promise?
Yes, ma'am.
Man, this shit bad.
You have to meditate.
I've actually been trying to get my friends to meditate.
Because your brain, there's too much going on up
In
there.
mine?
Mm-hmm.
I can feel that.
I like that you have this outlet, though, this creative outlet,
Mm-hmm.
Because, it'll get some stuff off of your mind. But you need to meditate more. So do you.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Are you going to?
Yeah.
You promise?
I just started, actually.
For real?
Literally 2 days ago. He recommended it. It's not bad. It's not bad, actually.
I was waiting for it.
You waiting for the referral? Is that what you waiting?
Mm-hmm. They all say it's bull, bro. Until they try it. It changes your life.
For me,
Helpful.
my source of meditation is mostly
Cheeks.
That's
When you're sleeping with your multiple partners.
I've been getting into it recently. It hasn't been
Sex
much.
parties?
What's going on? Of all things.
This guy.
Of all things. Yo, you think I'm capable of being?
Yep.
Yeah, that's it.
Heard too many stories.
Yeah. All your lies.
That was pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. That was good.
That was just a little,
That was good.
sneak peek, though.
A little test.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Until the calls.
I was reading you guys before I got here, though. like those were specific, like you. You need to be careful with your energy. All of you guys do.
Careful.
This is not a joke.
Like with other people.
Just who you surround yourself with, who you let in, the opportunities that come to you. One thing that like I've really been, because like some of the clients who have been coming to me for readings recently are people who are like starting businesses or just like, you know, doing stuff like that, creative stuff. And the one scenario that like kept popping into my head recently for my clients is that like it's almost like I'm thinking of a celebrity and who like, I don't know, something like them signing a contract or something like that, getting into something, and then after like being in that situation, I don't know if I'm making sense. Like I'm thinking of like Beyonce signing a contract.
A bad contract?
Yeah, and then it's like, you know,
she doesn't become Beyonce because of the contract.
She's being manipulated and taken advantage of and blah, 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 right? It's like, because the more you level up in life, like the harder those tests are going to be. And like, think about being in that position. It's like you want to be like this famous singer, but, you know, you're not engaging with the right people. It's really hard to like set those boundaries at that point. So it's like for people who are doing creative stuff, putting themselves out there, it's like you really got to be careful with your energy because you can get yourself into like some crazy situations that way.
Like being cancelled?
Yeah, like being cancelled. Can't happen again. Oh, it will.
It will.
It's okay.
It will, yeah, it will. Yeah. After I've seen what people like Charlamagne go through, I didn't fear anything, right?
Yeah.
Can't be as bad.
Yeah, but Charlamagne's rich. So
Exactly.
You can get over it a lot easier.
No. Because he's rich, he's going to get more people at him. I'm a nobody.
Oh, don't say that.
Well, for now, anyways.
Your roster knows who you are. No, okay.
You've been waiting to land that one, have you? I'm dead. Right, relationships.
Is my wife gonna be brown?
What? That's what you want to know? Oh my god.
What's wrong with this nigga, bro?
Can you tell me like specifically like which country?
Okay.
Like
Okay,
Iran.
tell
Not
her
a
name
fortune
as well.
teller, nigga.
Yeah, that's the thing. This is
India.
the thing about us energy
Educate.
readers, okay? It's like I can't predict certain outcomes. It's the energy you're putting out right now. So based on the energy you're putting out right now, maybe your wife will be brown. Most likely.
That's good.
Because that's the energy you're putting out. I don't know what you're putting out, but
Perfect.
yeah.
That's all I need to know.
That's all. Perfect.
No. Yeah, relationships. What kind of readings do you do for relationships? Do you do like specifics as to like
It's my least
you're
favorite
going
reading.
through something?
Relationships?
Yeah.
I'm sure it's the most popular.
Oh yeah.
It was the one you don't like the most? Is that what you said?
I don't like doing them because it's always the same. I just feel like I repeat myself all the time.
Yeah.
It's like just focus on you and the rest will like fall into
Bro,
line.
straight up.
But yeah, people come at me with like the other day I had somebody say like, I mean, my boyfriend getting married, is he going to school? Are we gonna have a baby? Are we gonna like all these questions? Like
What do you actually? Yeah, how do you reject people?
how do I reject people?
Like
What do
your
you mean?
clients?
Yeah. What do you think I was saying? Oh no, not that. Like yeah, clients. Well, not clients, customers, because not clients yet. I'm sure you don't just accept everyone.
I think there's only one time that I told somebody sorry no, just because it was like, it's usually just things like, oh, like I can't, like payment. People always have weird issues with that. Like if you can't pay for the tarot reading, like I can't help you. But like stuff like that, like just, or this one person, because so many people come to me and they're just like a mess, right? So it's like,
Yeah.
like I tell them like, okay, we're gonna meet at 6 p.m. like over Zoom, and then it's like, oh no, I can't do this at this time because it's just like messy, you know what I mean? So then I usually tell people like, okay, like maybe come back at a different time, we can reschedule when you're like feeling more stable. I don't use that word, but like that's what it is, right? Like when you're in a better place, we can do a reading. But I don't do that often. Like I usually do most of the readings that I get. So yeah.
Who's the hardest to read?
Who?
Yeah, oh, like demographic wise.
Oh. I mean, men are like harder than women to read.
Really?
For sure.
Yeah.
I haven't done that many readings for men, honestly, but I think like black men, they're pretty hard to read.
The struggles now.
They're pretty hard to read. I was gonna say white guys
crazy.
too, but like, yeah.
I think most white guys are pretty free. There's quite a lot. You agree?
Ooh, there. Don't assume, buddy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
not a reader.
They have like their own stuff going on. Like,
I get
closed off
it.
in their own ways.
Actually, yeah. What do you think? And this is just our opinion.
Mhm.
What do you think white men go through?
What do they go through?
A lot.
Like what?
Still men.
I'm not saying there's nothing, because I have my own things that I think they go through. But what do you think they go through?
As a half white man, give
Okay. Are you pushing to your Arab girls?
what I go through.
What? Answer the question, Joe.
As a white man,
Bro, not as a white
half
man,
myself?
but as in like, what do you think white men go through?
I think they go through what most guys go through. Struggles. Their parents love them enough. What they want to do in school. Are they gonna be able to provide for them, for their families? Are they gonna be able to find a partner? They go through normal struggles.
In terms of,
May not be getting discriminated against, but they still have struggles.
I mean, on social media now. In terms of their being loved by their parents, do you think it's more on their side or the minority side, as in this side of the world?
See,
Do you think it's more on one side or the other, or do you think it's equally the same?
I've had some conversations with some white kids, and they've told me that they've actually said they wish their parents would discipline them more. They wish their parents would be more strict, because in a way it's showing that they care.
Yeah.
When their parents are just kind of cool with them doing whatever, it's like, okay, do you not care if I get injured? Do you not care if this has bad repercussions? Like,
I've had similar conversations before. That's why I asked the question, because I've had those conversations, and because I've had those conversations, sometimes I do feel some sort of sympathy towards those that are acting out. When people are then condemning them for their actions, in my mind I'm thinking, this guy is clearly going through something that he's not even aware of. Right, there's a lot of lack of identity, and through that you do certain things, especially when you're a pretty white boy that's had everything given to him. You don't know how to attain things for the most part. I'm not saying this applies to everyone, but sometimes I do have to take a step back, and I consider that when, being in the midst of a multicultural environment is like, for some people, because of how much privilege they have, they don't understand the value of anything. And because of that, there will be, for example, relationships-wise, they're going from girl to girl. On some guys' sides, they're seeing it as they're getting all the girls. They don't realize that this guy is struggling to even find one girl to get. So, yeah, I feel like it's key to be aware of our counterparts. It's key to be aware of their struggles, especially when it comes to this division that we keep on creating. Hence why I asked the question, because I know some people are not even aware that white people go through their own shit. Even in terms of like the pressure that's put on some rich white kids to maintain a family name that maybe you don't even want anything to be part. Look at the royal family, the best example.
Harry.
You get what I'm saying? What is he actually going through? Like for us, we're seen as like, oh yeah, he's a prince, he's just unruly.
Yeah.
But what is he actually going through? I mean, I don't condone the book he wrote. It doesn't make sense. Uncle's just looking for money, but at the end of the day, because of how big that legacy is, what has he actually given up? What's like the magnitude of what he's given up compared to us regular people that are just, you see some children just be emancipating themselves like as jokes, you know? It's deep, man. This world is deep. This world is deep.
Everybody's going through something.
Yep.
To some extent. It's crazy. You know what I've been watching recently? Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Yeah?
It's a crazy show. And I think about like what they go through. It's like...
Actually, yeah, to be honest, for me, outside of the sex tape, I think Kim is a wife.
Hmm?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
I think she's a proper wife. She's a good wife. She's
What makes you say that?
wifeable material.
What makes you say that? What
The
do
way
you
she
know about
carries
her?
herself, the way she talks.
The way she carries herself?
Yeah. How doesn't she carry herself well?
No, I'm asking you.
Yeah, I'm asking you. Yeah. I said, yeah, the way she carries
herself. You
herself.
say that?
The way she carries herself. She carries herself proper. She speaks properly. She's educated as
So
well.
what about her has been proper? Like in the way that she carries herself.
She speaks proper. Even when it comes to your relationship, her relationship to be exact, or all her relationships, she doesn't speak out all bad about her partner. As far as I know. I haven't heard anything bad.
About Kanye.
What she said bad about him.
Yeah,
That is from
I
her
said
I'm saying
mouth.
about Kanye, not the other
There's other ones.
marriages,
No, yeah, and the other ones.
partners.
I haven't heard anything bad.
I don't think you've looked hard enough.
Why do I have to dig? If I dig for something, I'll find something.
Mm-hmm.
But if on the general scope, I don't see anything, why do I need to dig for
a
it?
while ago.
Huh?
It also happened a while ago.
What are you referring to?
I understand.
I've
where you're
known
coming from.
Kim Kardashian since a sex tape.
See, I
Everything post
understand
that,
what you're
I've known
coming
about
from
her.
If you're speaking on Kanye because she has made this statement and she's made it clear, I don't want to denounce my husband. I do not want to.
I'm not talking about the
him.
divorce, bro.
Mhm.
I'm talking even within the relationship.
Yes, but you said she has not spoken bad on her past relationships.
As far as
And
he
I agree
knows.
with
I'm saying as a wife, she doesn't speak bad. I'm not saying like she hasn't or there's no. I just say she
Oh, so
doesn't
you're
speak
saying
bad.
Currently, as of right now,
I say she has a characteristic
Mhm.
that, like, you can have a characteristic that is something, and you can have odd days or a few odd moments where you go against your characteristic.
Mhm.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Mhm.
In that context, that's what I'm applying to her. For the most part, she's a wifeable character compared to some other people in Hollywood. In my opinion, she's not going to be my wife, God forbid. But from what I see of her, she's a wifeable character. She has a lot more sense than most people in her family, in my opinion.
Like,
Pretty much all of them, bro. Like, what? Do you want to...
I would have to disagree.
Yeah, tell me now. Why?
Just for the simple fact that obviously she has other sources of income now, where even like she's a lawyer now. Like we all know she does not need to be posting provocative photos anymore. And even Kanye addressed her. He's like, we have children now. I would appreciate if you would stop posting these photos.
Mm-hmm.
And she did not agree with what he was saying. She believed that it was something she liked to do. It was something she wanted to continue to do. And posing yourself as a sex symbol when you're bringing children into the world, I just feel like, I'm not going to say you're setting them up for failure, but I'm saying the type of things that you're going to have to put them through, and that by you doing this, that you will be putting them through, I feel it could be quite detrimental.
So it's a lot more selfish. That's what you're saying.
Yes, that's
What
what
would you say that's based on her or based on the world?
based on her or based on the world. In what
Yeah.
sense?
As in the repercussions her children will have to face, is that based on her being sexually liberated, or not even sexually liberated, just being a sex symbol, which is what we all are. You have
Most
to remember
definitely.
as well.
Some more than others.
Yeah, but do you think that's her fault, or do you think... the bad repercussions, do you think it's her fault, or do you think it's society's fault?
I would say it's 50-50.
Okay.
Because as a mother or as a parent, you would want to do anything to try and prevent your child from having to endure any type of hurt or harassment. And it just seems like that's not what she's trying to do.
Okay.
She's not trying to prevent that in any type of way. She's just like, okay, it's going to happen.
Is that the only thing you're saying that makes her not wifeable?
I would definitely say, for me,
Yeah, for you.
from what I've noticed, she seems quite, from what Kanye said, seems quite superficial.
Mm-hmm.
Cares about material possessions a little too much for my liking. I would definitely say someone that has had, what was it, 3 or 4 failed marriages?
I think 3.
I would definitely say that's a red flag.
That's the stats. Yeah. Sorry?
I would definitely say that's a red flag.
That's a red flag, yeah.
So I don't know, just based off those 3 things I've named, I don't know if I would say she's quote unquote wifey material.
Okay.
But yeah, I see where you're coming from.
I see where you're
She's
coming
starting to carry herself a lot better.
The first time ever?
She's a lawyer.
No, the thing is, we both always see where we're coming from, but we just never want to admit it. I admit it, Sha. This one doesn't.
No. You
admit
guys,
it.
I think you guys both have good points.
Yeah.
I think I
Well, Mr. Mediator. Yeah.
No, I just-
Thanks for your input.
You're welcome.
Finally,
that's all I
after
got
how
to-
many episodes?
That's it.
No, I think, I've been coming to terms with, not coming to terms, I was in agreement with it. Don't get me wrong. The whole posting sexually
Coming to terms as in
complicit
understanding it
pictures. Yeah.
for yourself.
No.
Okay, so what are you coming to
Relax.
terms with then?
Understanding it from afar, as in my situation, it's going to be a harder pill to swallow. But over there, I can understand why it's happening. So, the topic of sex is a taboo subject in general. We've taken how many episodes to even talk about it too. So, in that perspective, is she posing? Right. What's the difference between her posting near naked photos to the guys that are posting about money overtly? What's the difference? Yeah.
I think they're both doing it for attention of the opposite sex or to show status.
And does that make that bad?
Doesn't make it bad.
Remove
Well, it depends.
remove
Are they in relationships?
remove society's understanding, because bear in mind we're all born into this world naked, right? Clothes are just a construct of society. That being said, her posting provocative pictures, is that something that is a problem?
No.
Okay. You're saying in
Why would
general,
it
or
be?
if you're in a relationship?
Either.
In general, no.
So
I
why
feel
does
like
it
if
change
you-
when you...
If you date someone like Kim Kardashian, you kind of have to be prepared to like understand that she's going to be posting.
It's her brand.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what she does, and like
She's a lawyer.
the sex tape
not
came out
lawyer.
before she even had kids, so it's like that's kind of just what Kanye signed up for.
I mean, like,
So
I
it's literally
definitely
her brand.
see
yeah,
if I had married a girl and her brand is posting provocative photos, like
Or
that is her brand,
it's
I
part
can
of her
definitely
brand.
understand where you were coming from. I can definitely understand if that's what you need to do to support yourself, if that's what you do to make your money. But I'm saying Kim Kardashian is at a point in her life where she has expressed that being a lawyer is her passion. This is no longer her posting provocative photos. That is now for herself. That is, you can consider that a personal hobby. Her husband is a billionaire. We know she doesn't need to do this for money. So it's kind of like, okay, why are you doing it?
Okay, so Isaac, at what
I think
point
the thing that matters the most is the why.
At what point do you decide? What's your passion right now?
What's my passion?
Yeah.
I definitely say track in school.
At what point do you decide I don't want to be an athlete anymore? I want to stop training.
I would say probably when I no longer enjoy it.
So what point is that?
I would say either when too many injuries, it's conflicting with other life things, stuff like that.
So when you start making money off track, you're making a lot of money. Are you gonna stop training?
Are you saying like training like for my
Just
event,
training
or just
in general.
like staying physical, or like
Staying
working
physical
out?
to you.
I would probably stop training. I would still work out, just stay fit.
So the working out part, are you gonna stop?
Am I gonna stop? No.
All right. So from that perspective,
Mm-hmm.
that's your passion. You care about your body.
Yeah.
You care about the wellness of your body and the health of your body and the fitness, right? Regardless of the money, because you're doing it right now without money, right? Or you getting paid on the sly.
Well, I guess scholarship. That's
Yeah?
Yeah.
You don't want to share some of those, no? So now you're doing it. Essentially, you're doing it for free, right? Obviously, you're doing it to get into school, but you're doing it because you want to do it. The reason I'm asking you is as to why is it that you don't stop when you've now made a lot of money is because, bear in mind, this is what made her her.
Yeah.
And what makes someone themselves is their purpose and their passion. Right? Obviously, sex has been perverted massively.
Yeah.
Right? So, if we try and understand or look at this from a point of view of without the perversion, the reason I'm asking you is what she's doing that has made her who she is. Why are you telling her to stop when it's what made her who she is? It's the same as your girlfriend telling you, Isaac, why are you working out? Let's just go eat and watch a movie. Do you get what I'm saying? If you're removing the perversion from it.
I guess it just comes back to what I was saying. It's like the why. Like, why is she doing this? Because it's her passion? Is she doing this to garner male attention? Like, it's the
at the end of the day,
you can't really gauge her intent. Right?
Right? We can't gauge her intent, and at the end of the day, she's at the point where she literally does not need to do. She can sit down and get male attention. Yeah. At that point, what other male attention? This is just different points. What other male attention do you want? Because we're talking about Kim Kardashian. We're not talking about just any old Becky. Yeah. This is Kim Kardashian. Yeah. She's at a level where she does not need to do anything to get any guy she wants. Yeah. Right? So, her doing what made her who she is, how is that a problem? Or, like, are you still finding a problem with it?
It just depends on why you're doing it. But since we don't
So,
know,
if she's doing it for passion and purpose, would you still have a problem with it?
most likely no.
Okay. That's all. It's just a dissection.
It just comes down to the why.
Yeah. But then, again, if we're removing the provocative pictures, what else makes her undesirable to you as a wife?
Definitely, I believe I would want someone that would put my kids' interests first. What my kids would always be thinking about, what my kids would have to go through.
How do you know she's not also educating them? Because the funny thing is, like, what makes the repercussions bad is when your kids aren't educated about sex and they go in an environment with other kids that aren't educated about sex. That's what makes it bad.
The only reason why I'm going based off this is because I remember seeing a clip and she was crying to her sister's
son. Yeah.
Yes, she was saying, something about my kid brought up something about sex.
Yeah,
so he saw an ad, didn't he?
Yeah.
So I don't think she's necessarily brought it up to them. I don't think she's necessarily educated them. I think as of right now, they're too young.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's a tricky situation she's definitely in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But continuing to do provocative things like that, would you not think that would just make it worse on your child?
The thing again, it's a hard topic to get a definitive answer for, because as I said, like, this is not any normal babe. Like, this is not a babe that you got with and then all of a sudden she's now posting provocative pictures.
Yeah.
Right? This is someone that has made her life, like, everything she touches turns to gold. Why? Because it goes back to how she presents herself. The pictures, all of that build up Kim Kardashian. And because she's now built up Kim Kardashian, that means she can do anything and it can turn to gold. The only thing that required her actual ability was becoming a lawyer. That she can't buy becoming a lawyer, right? Obviously. So outside of that, everything she's doing is for the purpose of her passion or her purpose. From my view anyways. So now, if we're going to talk about sex and the repercussions on the kids and stuff, obviously, as a grown person, you're going to get to the point where you have to address the sex part, because as your kids are growing up, as you said, they're too young for me to be like, okay, guys, you're going to see something that's going to be... Do you get what I'm saying? She was probably waiting for a good time to say it. There's never a good time to say it. She's obviously turned out in a situation where it's happened before she's got the chance, right? But even in those situations... The reason why I'm actually deep in this is I got in a situation where I had to think about it. Right? Like, I don't know how to say this without too much detail.
Maybe get the picture.
Yeah, so essentially, it's not like someone is in the same hemisphere, but this person is naturally a lot more freer. Right, and I had to think about
if you could come to terms with that,
being my woman. Right. So that now being said, I then thought about, well, I saw obviously like interviews of Kim, and I was like, how does that now look? Because me personally, at this point, I could stand and say, yeah, I can never marry Kim Kardashian. I can never marry anyone that's doing provocative. But then I could fall into a situation where my heart speaks louder than my brain. In that situation, what do I now do? You know, and then obviously,
I think you have to look at it from a standpoint of why do I care so much? Why does it bother me so much?
Exactly. Yeah. So that was now where I went into read and listen a lot more about sex and what it means, right? That brought me back to understanding that we are all built, we are literally, our mission on this earth, according to my faith, is that we are brought on this earth to multiply. In order to multiply, we have to have sex. That means we are sexual organisms. We're built to have sex. Why has sex now become a bad thing? The same way we're built, in order to refuel ourselves, we need to eat, we need to breathe. No one has perverted eating or breathing. Right? So understanding a lot of that has now made me rethink that whole scenario. And even rethink how I view sex. I always said this before, I'm a prude, and you guys have seen it, that I am a prude. But understanding it and like trying to just open my mind up to it a little bit more has made me understand that this is not something that you should be shy about talking about. And also it goes back to how we were taught about it, which was never.
Yeah.
The only thing that my mom has tried is recently she just said, oh, if you get any girl pregnant, just make sure you can feel free to talk to me. That one I can give her A for effort. She's tried. But outside of that, I haven't been taught about sex. Literally, I've just fallen into situations where I've had to understand things quickly before porn is even in the picture.
Yeah.
I didn't even get the chance to even have porn as my guidance. or quote unquote guidance to it. It's like everything just happens, and I'm like, shit, oh shit, what the hell is it? Whoa, do you get what I'm saying? Like, imagine a baby trying to eat. That's how I felt because I'm a full adult. This is something strange, right? So, yeah.
Why do you think society has made sex into something that's bad or like frowned upon or something that shouldn't be talked about? Why do you think that happened?
Yeah,
Do you think the more forbidden something is, the more profitable it can be made?
Yeah. Yeah, because everyone wants what they can't have. Right.
If you demonize it, there can be a large demographic of people that will be more drawn towards it because they think it's going against the grain. You're different from everybody else.
Think about when they say guys with dreads are dangerous guys. How many more girls do you get now? Am I lying?
Oh my god,
Mr. Dreadhead.
You
think about it. Because everyone's drawn to something that is naturally is a desire, is a bad desire. We're drawn towards bad things. Ever since we got kicked out of Eden, we're drawn towards bad things.
It's like they said, bro, sex sells.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah, man. Let's get into these cards.
Let's Sheree have to ask us a question.
Do you want to do Sheree ask? You can even tell us a story. Look at this guy.
They only did that shit one time.
I just need something.
Something to inspire?
I need a scenario. I usually have a story that will match with it. I do have a story about a witch that tried to put an X on me.
Yeah.
What now?
Yeah. It's back in Trinidad.
Back in Trinidad? When the hell did you move here? Did you move here when you were young?
Oh no, this isn't really my story. It's my uncle's, but I just take it.
Oh, okay. I'll remove that part so it looks like your story.
Oh, you want me to tell it?
You can tell it while he's trying to find this.
Okay, so basically, we was chilling back in Trinidad. You know, it was after what was it, kickback or something like that. It was a party. So my uncle had decided that it was time for him to take this girl home. Not sexually, because like he wanted to make sure she got home safely. So he was going to walk her home. And the whole time he was saying how this girl was just really antsy, she was on him, she was just really obsessed with him. And he was trying to take her home, and she kept trying to lead him through a different way. And she's like, no, let's go through this way. And before you had known it, she had led him all the way up to the jungle. Yeah. She had led him all the way up to the jungle. She's like, just follow me, come with me.
I thought he's the one that's walking her home.
Yeah, he was walking her home. But she had to tell him where to
don't
go.
die from the ash, right?
So she was walking him home. Well, he was walking her home. And she was saying, oh, follow me. We go this way. Finally, she had led him up to the jungle. So it had been notorious for the past few weeks that people were going missing in the jungle. People were getting led astray and getting brought to the jungle, and they were disappearing. There was a rumor that it was a cult full of, voodoo. They were doing this stuff. So my uncle, being the strong black man he is, he said, no. He said, this is far enough. He said, I'm not going through the jungle. He heard something. He heard like a branch snap or something. He looked back, and when he looked for her, she was gone. She disappeared. So he thinks she was a witch.
True story?
You call my uncle a liar? She was trying to lead him into the jungle to the Satanists. They're going to sacrifice him.
Oh, yeah?
Wow.
There's probably some Jamaicans that made it into my country.
This nigga, bro.
Sure, you got your question?
Anyways, it's time for Sheree Asks.
Ugh.
Chill out. I want to hear your answer on this, being that you've never been in a relationship. But what are some boundaries that you need to set in a relationship from everyone's personal perspective? Need in all caps.
Boundaries.
Yep.
Boundaries, as in things like you can't do.
I mean, I feel like you can kind of. It's not necessarily like a rule book kind of thing, but it's more so like. I don't know how to put it. It's kind of like setting what kind of relationship you want to be in, if that makes sense.
You want to go first so that people understand? Because you have a better understanding of your question. Right? So.
Nice. Let me think. Well, in my ideal relationship, there will be certain things that I would definitely, want to kind of, what's the word? Establish, grow. Obviously, I would want to be with a woman that is of the same faith as me. So I would definitely establish, praying together. And like I said, this isn't my ideal.
But these aren't really like boundaries.
That's why I said you can. That's why I said boundaries is the wrong word, but like pretty much. It's,
how would you set the tone for your relationship?
Like, what kind of relationship do you want to be in? Right.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm explaining it.
A happy one.
Great. Fantastic, Isaac.
Don't cheat on me.
Like,
there's the boundary.
Nice. Definitely like really emphasizing my faith, praying together. What's another one I would say?
Frequent cheeks.
The way we communicate. What?
Huh?
What's wrong with this thing?
He's a sexual being. He's getting into the sexual energy.
No, I'm really not into all that stuff.
What? Wait, one's good? Or you done?
I'm trying to think of another one that I feel, for me personally, I feel like is really big. Definitely just having a lot more like, and this is something that I would establish through conversation. Having a lot more structure to my relationship with the other individual, in terms of like really understanding the love languages and stuff like that. So the relationship actually flourishes. And this is obviously comes from my past experience as well, which is why I'm saying these things.
Yeah.
So these are things I would really want to establish. I wouldn't say it's really boundaries, but it's more so, things that I would want to establish in my ideal relationship, or in a relationship I would be with the person I'm with next.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, I would say those three things.
For me, it's understanding the power you have in this relationship and not abusing it, really. Because for me, the kind of person I want to be with is someone that is capable of destroying me. Yeah. So that's the main thing. It's just someone that understands their power and understands how to use it. Yeah, praying together, that one's kind of a given, just because like the way I am. I just need someone that has the same desire or even more. Obviously I can't ask for more because that's almost being hypocritical, but I would want someone that has a thirst and desire to be closer to God.
Yeah.
And then in that way we can work together, not dragging me, but we can work together.
You want to check your notebook?
Have a look. Nah, it's someone with a big heart. Yeah, someone with a big heart. Yeah, I think that's really it. Yeah, I need to be baby, bro.
Yeah,
this life is too hard. Soft.
Me too.
Soft. What are you having?
Boundaries. I think somebody who can respect my time. Just like, I need a lot of balance in relationships. Like, somebody who doesn't want to spend like every second with you. Like, definitely taking
healthy space.
Yeah, space.
That's actually a good one. That's
Yeah,
a really
it is a good one.
Yeah.
It's like things can get codependent so fast,
Yeah.
and like it's never good to depend on somebody's energy and cling on to somebody like
100%,
that.
100%.
No matter how long the relationship is or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the biggest one.
Yeah.
And then just like emotional availability, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah.
I need someone to be secure in themselves.
That's a big one too.
That is huge. I don't think it's very common, actually. It's not.
Yeah.
So that's
It's not
a
fair when you're projecting your insecurities onto someone.
Yeah.
Just because of the way you feel.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Right on, brother.
That was a good one.
It's big.
That was a good one. I like that one.
Yeah.
I don't like. Yeah, I don't like girls that are that aren't confident
In themselves.
Yeah.
You have to be confident in a relationship. Like,
Yeah.
Just it'll break you.
yeah.
Especially if you're with someone that's good looking.
Or Isaac will
Or-
cheat.
If you're with someone-
No, he wants to, but he can't.
Yeah, right.
if you're with
he
someone
wants
that's
to,
a
but he
good
can't.
person, obviously. if
Good
you're
person or
with
good
them for-
looking?
Good person, good looking. Good personality can attract people just as much as
100%.
good looking people can.
100%.
So
Yeah.
if you're with someone that's like that and you understand the value in them, you see the value in them.
Other people
But
will
if
as
you
well.
don't see the value in yourself, you're always going to think that, oh, other people are going to be able to steal them from me. You're going to start projecting that
Wow.
insecurity onto them.
I don't think you did that. Preach. Shit. What did you drink? Take it out of the book, man. You've been hitting us with some quotes recently.
I was trying to write a book on the back of this podcast.
Yeah.
No, man.
That was good. That was good.
Yeah, I like that. All right, let's get into some cards.
Are we doing it live? Oh, fuck.
I think that would be a good idea. I don't know where to like shuffle them though.
Oh,
Give like a little.
yeah. Hold on. Let's reconstruct this whole place.
So how does it work?
I shuffle cards. The cards fly out. Whatever the cards say, that's just your life.
Doc, so what time is it?
That's it.
It's almost 12. But we're about to be done.
Who's going first?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Is there anything I'm supposed to do? Or
Is there
just-
anything that you want to know specifically? A lot of people ask me like, oh, what's gonna happen like within the next month, or like what's going on this year, stuff like that.
Let's do this year. Why not?
A year, okay.
Sure.
Cool.
2024.
2024. 2024.
Oh,
Real nigga. Real nigga. 2024. Good catch, Isaac. Good catch. Are you sure? Okay, take it back. All right, let's do it.
Okay. I'm nervous. I don't know why. What's gonna happen? Okay, there's 78 cards here. They all have a specific meaning. I'll try to break it down for you, but it's kind of... There's a lot to it. Lovers. Ooh. That's a cute card.
try.
Be cool, Isaac.
The Lovers. The Chariot. The Page of Pentacles. What are you seeing from these cards? What do you see on the images there? The imagery. I'm seeing